Hello and welcome to CFS Rocks on SysOps TV. It has been a long time that we have seen us, but I have to apologize for everything you missed. And today I want to update you what's happening in Germany and in whole Europe. This channel is active since a couple of years, and I tried to start it in German, parallel to my SysOps TV only for CFS. My channel SysOps TV is running since 2008. This was a time when a small business server from Microsoft was recent and popular. But things changed, and my entire business has changed since the COVID pandemic. So we tried to migrate everything to European open source projects, mostly with companies with support subscriptions in the background. And when the pandemic started, I did a lot of live videos, sometimes 5 times a week, and showed everything what I achieved. And this was pretty risky, so perhaps the people say, what are you doing? This is not good, and you're taking money for this, but something very special happens and something magic happened. I met a lot of new friends, and those friends founded a group what we call Bash Club. So it's like on Fight Club, so nobody talks about the Bash Club. After 1 year, we found that nobody had a better selection or portfolio of open source software as we did. So we got our old 3-letter domain, AOW. This means something like everything without Windows. And this bouquet or selection or menu, what we are using is mostly on European supported open source projects like the Univention Corporate Server and the Nextcloud, and our own. We founded our own CFS file server. You can find it in a more recent video on this channel. And of course, the most important thing is Proxmox for virtualization. And yes, there was Copano. This is going away because it's only a cloud service today. And we made big steps with OpenSense. We moved all the machines from Sophos to OpenSense and much more. But this topic here, virtualization on Proxmox, this is our thing in combination with this CFS. So be curious what we found out and what we created in the last years. This is amazing. And by the way, we are still looking for another YouTube channel, English-speaking channel, that can handle our content, and perhaps I can join as a second host and can show what's happening here in Germany. We have some viewers here on this channel, but it's not very popular in America. So in Europe, imagine the following, then we show the people. So if we have the best selection, if we have the best bouquet, everybody has to use it. That's what we found out. So this is our bouquet and our menu, what we are selecting every time when we set up a new network. So there are people, they have no idea about it. There are people, they are up to date. And there are people, they are far better than us. And we found everybody on the internet and put it to the matrix chat. And then I created lessons, paid lessons, about 300 euros per lesson, and made live events. I did live events about 2 times 4 hours, paid events. You can repeat as often you like. And imagine the following. Until today, we have more than 500 people using the service. We are nearing, don't have the actual numbers, but I think we are very close to 1,500 trainings on this channel, and this is amazing and unbelievable that we went so far. And the most popular content of those lessons I will show you today, and it's all about Trojans and viruses and losing data, and we have everything we need on Proxmox VE that we don't have to lose data any time again. So you don't have to lose. And the best thing is you can have everything without any money. Everything you will achieve today will cost nothing. So since Broadcom purchased VMware, VMware is doomed. So nobody don't like to use VMware anymore because it's not because it's a bad product, but the politics and the prices and the licensing is horrible today. So people spend 10, 15, 20 years on a technique that everything you learned is obsolete when you don't use it anymore. What we are training here is knowledge, a particular knowledge you can mix. So it's not one thing you are learning, so you are learning everything step by step, technique by technique, and you can combine it with ZFS or TrueNAS, and you can use it in VMware, you can use it with Hyper-V or whatever, but not only one thing you will lose if they don't function as before. That's very important on this part. So let's have a look first in our simple setup here. What we have is a simple firewall setup on Proxmox virtual environment. So what you can see is, forget this one, this is very specific, so have a look at this one. This is a firewall. This is another firewall, and they should behave the same way. So what we have next, we have a very small computer. So you can see this is an Intel N100, a very cheap system. So this is fast, it's getting a little hot, but it's cheap. It has 2.5 gigs of Ethernet, so this is great as well. And you can use this for free. So you can use the non-production ready repository, and you can update your Proxmox virtual environment for free. And this is running the firewall here. So what we do, so this is the basic setup normally in our world. So what we have next, then you can see there is a second firewall running on a second system. But as you can see as well, this is one management unit. So I can log into the second, this is the second one, the 42, and you can manage the first one and the other way. And this is called a cluster. And if you have a look at the cluster, you can see that you have two machines. So if you are familiar with Proxmox, don't get mad. You can have a look here. PVE, Proxmox Virtual Environment, Cluster Manager, create cluster, will do a cluster, and if you have a second machine, you just say add. So that's everything you have to know about cluster for starting for the moment. Then you can also have a look at your status. And in my status you can see there is another machine, a Q device. It's on the productive Proxmox. We will see soon. And this is the third node. Means they all share one configuration, etc PVE folder. And if one node is missing, the other two nodes have to be up. And if this one comes back, if something is changing on this folder, they win. So if you are losing two machines, all modifications are stopping. It's still working, but you can't start or stop machines. You have to bring this cluster up. But I tried to reinstall a VMware vCenter this week, and it took us about 2 days, and we have a bug. We have no idea why it's not working. We can't install the vCenter at the moment. Creating a cluster on Proxmox VE will take a second. That is crazy. This is crazy. Just to let you know. So what we have here is on a simple system, you have ZFS. Yeah, that's our channel here. You can see there is a RAID called rpool, and this rpool has two different, yes, this is cheap SSD storage. There's one NVM and one SATA device, and this is mirrored. So the first thing that you have to know is that you have to check the status of this RAID here. If you don't have a look, there's no indicator on the front side, on the home page of this machine, or the dashboard from the Proxmox VE, that something is broken. The same is for your physical disks. That's the next problem. So I have to go further that you can see where the problem is and how to handle it. So here is our disks, and if there would be a problem, our smart status, I had to scroll to the right, is passed, so this is fine. But if it wouldn't, the problem is I would not recognize it. So we have to handle also with this. So the next thing is, if you want to move something, you can just, so this firewall here, we can have a look in this, let me see, we can bring a ping up to this network. So this is the first Proxmox of both. And I can get off the full screen that we have it side by side perhaps. And now I can say, so just move. So if this Proxmox is failing, you have to bring up this machine over there. So that's the idea with it. And how does this work? There is a feature that's called replication. This is here. And this set means you have to replicate it every 30 minutes because configuration changes on a firewall are not that often. But in theory, you can also say you do it every minute if there is enough time. So in theory, it's possible. So this means if I migrate this machine to the second host, someone will kick me or hit me if it doesn't work. You can see what's happening. My VPN to this customer is running, and it will take some seconds. And what he will do is to make a snapshot, a CFS snapshot. The older snapshots on the second side already. And then he's sending the difference between two snapshots to the other sides, and also moves the memory as well to the second machine and brings it up on the second host. And the big advantage is that these cheap machines have a 2.5 gig. So we have we have 3 pings. We have 3 pings missing here, and my VPN is up and running again. So, and this is working with ZFS snapshots. So, what we will see soon is that the machine will move back, because there is a rule that says this, as long as this host is up, this primary firewall has to be on the other side. So this is fine. If this machine would stop, he's still migrating, perhaps it's migrating back, I would see a dark themed firewall, but it's not our topic. So how do we handle backups on this machine? Let's have a look. Okay, we have also backups, because this snapshot, what we have is usually only one snapshot. This means you have every 30 minutes the same machine on the second host. If you have a problem like a trojan, or you do a misconfiguration or something, your problem will be that you have the same bullshit on the second machine as the first, and no selection. So for this, you usually are using a Proxmox Backup Server. The Proxmox Backup Server is has a big advantage. So normally in VMware there's no backup capability, so you have to buy the vCenter license or whatever. So, and on Proxmox there is a backup software, but this backup software only can handle a full disk backup, and depending on your source, this can be very time and space consuming. So this is no option for many of us. So what you can do right now, so if the backup server is up, you can just make a backup. So let's try and make a backup. Let me see if this moving here will be stopped soon. Migrate. What is he doing? You can see it here. Just moved back and is running yes, here's again 3 pings. From the outside, inside, you will achieve no missing pings. So what we can do here is a backup, so perhaps once a day. The first thing you have to ensure is, if you have bad people in your network, that nobody can say, okay, I want to do something bad and I try to remove this backup. As you can see, there's no permission. You can easily configure your Proxmox Backup server with a data store backup permission, but not with a delete or something. The Proxmox Backup server itself can clean up old backups, but you have to set up it well. So this will be a small topic today as well. So let's try what is about a backup. Let's do a backup now. Let's back up this second firewall. And if we have a closer look, we will see something about dirty bitmap, and it says it's 1.4 gigabytes of 32. So this means you just no. What's he saying? Dirty bitmap. Resuming VM again is created new. This looks like a full backup. I have no idea why it's doing this. Normally, you can have an incremental backup. But if you touch the firewall or stop the machine and restart it, it's always a full backup for some reason. It's on other backups like Veeam, it's behaving a completely other way. So in a situation where your full backup is not plannable, so you don't know if you have a full backup or incremental backup, you have to schedule it very, very early. And as you can see, when I try to list my backups here, so here are more backups, it's always the fact that the backup server has to run 24/7. Because, how does it work? Proxmox has a schedule for backups. This is here, and this schedule will trigger the backup. But as you can see, there is no active backup on this. And that's pretty interesting. This means, what if we can change a lot of rules in this entire environment in a very smart and easy way? GitHub.com and to the Bash Club, and have a small look, and you can find a lot of great stuff. In the meantime, we have 21 repositories. Today, we want to talk about 2 or 3 very, very important repositories based on my last 15 years and programmed by our great friends Thorsten and Niels from Germany. And the first thing is the check CFS replication. The second thing is the ZSync or CSync, whatever, how you pronounce it, even if you are from England or from UK. And the best thing will be, if you don't want to learn how checked CFS replication or CSync is working for replication, there will be a script, very new. It's from my favorite film, Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, and it's Miyagi Script. So what we want to do today is the following. And this we can see in this graphic. So let's try to have a look what we are doing here. If you want a Trojan safe and easy backup, the next problem will be there is replication is consuming resources. There is a backup is consuming a lot of resources. Perhaps there is a CFS scrub, you know it, it's running on Sunday. And this is very, very, very consuming a lot of resources. So, and perhaps there is some CFS replication validation, and it also costs a lot of resources. And if all of this is running, for example, on a Sunday at the same time, there's a great chance your system is still flat on Monday. And what you can do next is to buy much bigger and more expensive hardware. You can buy more spinning hard drives or faster SSDs, or you can have a big shit of money on your environment. Or you are clever, like us, you are clever, and you are serializing this and do it one by one by one. So, how do we sysops in Germany do a great backup that doesn't fall, doesn't tumble over? What's it in English? Tumble over your own feet? Let's see. We have this Proxmox source server on the left. So assuming we have one server. If you have more than one server, you can repeat all the steps one by one. So then you have a PVE target. So why do we use a PVE target? So what we use is a Proxmox backup server, but we put a Proxmox virtual environment beyond it that we can send CFS snapshots to it for replication, and we can run a Proxmox backup server on the PVE. That means you can also, if you like to, you can snapshot the backups. So if you are compromised, you can roll back all backups in seconds, and at the end, the machine is not running if it's not needed. So machine is off. Miyagi says, best defense, no be there. No be there, turned off. That's what we're doing. So assume the machine is turned off and you are starting it by wake on LAN or a scheduler, whatever. And then you have on startup, this is a cron event at reboot. And what he will do is he will config. Start with config file. So start the Miyagi script with a config file. We'll come to this soon. And then it will mark all data sets and volumes to be replicated. So we're talking about bootable CFS replicates. And then he is creating a fresh csync, that's our software from Thorsten, config file. So you don't have to know anything about csync if you don't like. And then it's running the csync with this config file we just created and is starting with new snapshots on source and is pulling the snapshots to a target data store on this PVE. So then he's validating the snapshot GUID, so the genuine IDs on the snapshots, and so he can be 100% correct if the exact same snapshots ended at the target. And then he is sending the test results to a monitoring software. It's called CheckNK. We will have a look soon on this. And the results will expire after 1 day. That's important. We can monitor a host now that's turned off by sending the results to the source. That's what we're doing on this next step as well. We are starting the Proxmox backup server, and then we do a prune and a garbage. Oh, there is a typo here. We're doing a prune and a garbage collection. This means the first step is you mark all backups. They are not necessary anymore. And because the backup is based on a lot of small chunks, he kicks off all chunks not present in any remaining backup. That's a great thing, but it takes a lot of time, but it makes space. And this is done on a maintenance day. So for example, you are starting your backup on Saturday night, so you have the night and all Sunday, and everything can happen there. Then it's stopping all scrubbing, because scrubbing is nice, but not if you want to make a backup. And then he's triggering a Proxmox backup from source to target. This is still a push backup, but it's triggered by us. This means we decide So when we know that the machine is up, we start the backup whenever we want. Means the backup server does not have to run all day. So then, when we are done, we are running the verified jobs and updating this machine and shut down the target. Miyagi no be there. No? And let's have a look what it looks like on this machine here. This is the small one. You can see the validated backups here. So this means you can be sure every chunk is present on your backup. So what have we at the end? We have all machines in a bootable way. I'll show you in a second. And you have backups. Backups is good, but for backup you need time and space to restore. And there is usually a big delay between the live situation and your last backup. So better you have a replication. Replications are faster. This is like a crashed system. And you can just boot the system. And you can boot the system anytime. You can boot it anytime. And then you can try if your replication is it's good. But remember, if you're replicating with a lot of snapshots, some systems need their disks or their machines at the same time. So don't have to use the latest backup then, or the latest snapshot, so use the same snapshot time of any machine. And now we will have a look at our great stuff from Thorsten and Niels, what ZSync and checked ZFS can do for you. So let's dive in. What we have here is, of my customers, the old server. The server is running since a couple of years, but we replaced the disks, but usually it's not necessary. You can, for this what we're going to do, you can use your old server. This is the best thing you can do with your old server. Just keep it. It's paid, it's great, it's working since yesterday, great, but you don't have to dump it. So what we put on it is, so what we have here, we have put a Proxmox virtual environment, the equivalent to the ESXi server. So you can see this is a E5 server here. We can have a look how fast it is. So we have a dual configuration. It's not a slow one. This should be a dual. Yes. So we had 7,000 CPU marks on this system, and this is paid. This is paid, and it's here, and it has 128 gigs of RAM. So great machine, and it got new disks from us. So this is nice. What we have inside is a lot of disks. Let's have a look. We used a bunch of 16 terabytes. Yes, a lot of 16 terabytes disk for this customer. And then we had a RAID, and that's crazy. We have a RAID Z1. This means it's equivalent to a RAID 5. So if you are using virtual machines on this, never go beyond a 16K record size or vol block size. This you can find in your storage configuration. There is basically in older versions 8K. If you are creating new machine, it has to be 16K. Otherwise, you lose 50 up to 100% of speed. So we have a lot of space here, and we have a virtualized Proxmox backup server here. And you can see it has 16 gig for the operating system and 5 terabytes on space. So there is a lot more space on this system at the end, and this will be used for replication. So let's have a look how this system looks like, or we can use the big terminal here to have a look at this backup machine. On terminal, it looks like this. ZFS list, and you can see you have the R pool. This is your Proxmox virtual environment. This is the operating system of the backup server, and you can see its data here, and you can see the 5 gigs No, it's not 5 gigs. How did I come to 5 gigs? It's 17 terabytes. What have I seen here? 51. This is 51 gigs. Oh, this is a lot. Okay, but it's only used, it's SYN provisioned. At the moment, it's used with 17 terabytes. The only disadvantage on this system is that you only can max out 80, maximum 90%. Then from starting at 80% filling of the system, you will get performance problems. That's how CFS is working. And then we have here another data set. This is the rpool REPL. Oh, get all. And you can see that we have a parameter. You can see this is, but you don't have to care about this. sun auto snapshot false. So this means if you're using an auto snapshot engine, no automated snapshots are landing on this replication side. And then you can very easily see what we have here. We have a replication, then it says rpool HDD data NAS. Oh, this is obviously on a disk, on a spinning disk source, and everything else here is on a SSD source. And this is exactly the same. You can see it here. This part here is exactly the same you can find on the productive machine. This is here. And let's also have a look at this one as well. So this is the productive one. This is the new one. You can see zpool, zpool status will report a RAID 10 for the disks and a RAID as well for the SSDs here, and also for disks so we're using only RAID 10. That would be the best performance. So you see zpool upgrade has not been done. So we do this here. So next is, here is all the data sets and volumes. This is the data sets for the Linux containers, and this is the volumes, the mount point for the volumes you can find on dev, zvol, zvol, whatever. So the next thing you can see, let's dive in this one here, for example. You have SYN provisioning here. That's what we always do. So this means this machine needs 107 gigs of space, but it says 212 gigs. Where does it come from? So let's have a look. And this comes from a tool apt install CFS auto snapshot. So you just can install it, and then you can go to cron hourly and for the mostly important monthly, and you will find those calls here. So you see 3 months on monthly. And when I have a look here, I have auto snapshots on weekly. And my only job is to have a look that this value here does not go up 80%. If it's going up and more than 90%, you almost are not able to work anymore. That's the only important thing you have to handle with it. So what he's doing is permanent snapshotting the disks, also with frequency. So, and in comparison to VMware snapshot, this is effortless. I can just say ZFS, CFS, destroy, can just remove this frequency snapshot, and it's done. You can delete all snapshots, and then it's on. It will take a minute or less, and then you still have 107 gigs left. But every snapshot seen here, let me have a look if they are, yes. I can see a lot of bullshit here. I have to clean up this. This one is from an older replication engine. This is not running anymore. You can see this all from January. I will clean this up. So that's why I have chosen this special customer for today. And then you can see, so this is from a not running anymore replication engine. This is the auto snapshot here. And you can see weekly, daily. And you can see pull external. This is my old engine. still running, 22nd, and there has to be another snapshot name. It's called the csync. So where is it? Let's have a look. Where is it? A little closer. Let's go to the end. Here. For example, here. And csync is using the ZFS Auto Snapshot engine as well, and then replicates all the stuff. So let's have a look. Get all, it's not very complex. So this is all information about the snapshot, and this snapshot has a genuine ID. So here it is. So if I go to my target and have a look and say ZFS list minus type snapshot and output me the name and the GUID, I will get any snapshots of this machine. So if the snapshot is not that recent as you expected, you also can have a look at your target. So you see all the data sets. And you can see on a RAID Z1, as a RAID 5 equivalent, you can see it's using 137. Imagine if you have a block size of 8, a whole block size chosen, you can go up to 200 gigabytes for the same, and it will become very slow. So ZFS CFS list minus T snapshot, output name and genuine ID of this data set will show the latest snapshots. There are hourlies and dailies. And so you can just check this one. This is the 1084, like the famous monitor from Commodore. And let's have another look if this CFS list minus T snapshot with our name, genuine ID, and just find this on the source, if it's there as well. And now you know your latest snapshot is from 8 o'clock, 33 minutes, Greenwich time, so there's no daylight saving here, and you know you can resume it. So if you want to be sure, now it comes to our tools. You just can go to github.com/bashclub, bashclub, and choose the check CFS replication. The installation is that easy. Just select the 3 lines and put it here on the target. Yes, here we are. And then you just can verify like this. Check CFS -- source, the IP address of your source server, because you're pulling. Only the target can see all the data. Filter. You can choose this one, but you also can choose rpool HDD data. And because of this pipe here, you have to put it in what's it called, gaps, or what's it called in English? In this one here. And then you can have say, okay, it's how old might it be? This is a daily backup, so we choose it in minutes. So this is more than a day. The first one is in minutes 1500, then it's going yellow, and 2000 minutes should be red. I can say also --debug. You can see the magic happen, everything. So here's your filters and what you are selected. You also can count the number of snapshots if you like to. And now we have to see if our replication is valid or not. This will take about half a minute. So there's no rush and no reason to get nervous, even you have chosen the wrong IP address. Here we go. So let's have a look. So for this reason, debugging is great. And this one is just checking the latest snapshots on source and destination and validates if there is a common one. So here's it. So this means if you have a trojan or a virus at this second, you will lose 6 minutes and about 7 minutes. So you can roll back to a 4 or 12. What we do is a frequent snapshot is every 15 minutes. Our number is 12. So 3 hours of frequent snapshots. Means if something bad is happening, I can roll back in a very, very small steps. That's it. My external backup, my daily backup, so if I lose the entire machine, I would lose 5 hours and 18 minutes on this. But you can do this hourly as well, or every 15 minutes. So that's how it works. What I don't like is this hourly here, but this is because I modified something on the system today, but we can repeat this soon. So that's how it's working. For our Csync tool, what we have to do, you just have to go here and have to make a modification here like this. Bash club Csync all, usually all or subvolts, whatever. You can read the manual, but you don't need to. For this tool, you need a configuration. The configuration looks like you can find here on etc bash club. So here's one configuration, and it's very easy. So on the target, put it here. This is the SSH connection to my source with port 22. This is the mark you just have seen. Please only select monthly and daily. So for this reason, I have no idea why there is an hourly, but I did something in the morning. And I replaced the script at the latest version, the most recent version. So min keep 3 snapshots that you always can resume your snapshot and do 14 days of snapshot. And our order snapshot, this is doing an order snapshot at the beginning, is labeled with that. This means you just can start your bash club Csync with a configuration like this and with a debug command. So what he's doing, he's going to run ZFS order snapshot with this specific snapshot name, and then he's rushing and doing a very, very fast replication at the best. I've never seen a replication engine that is that fast and can handle only the necessary queries on CFS. And look how fast this is. Okay, and this datasets did not have a lot of look at this, it's just 3 MB here, it's 135 MMX, but it's not a lot. CFS don't have to figure out what has changed between every snapshot because he is one thing. It's one kernel, set pool, Z pool with a rate and the CFS commands. And that's why this is that fast. You can't believe it. Let me stop this at this point and then stop this. Just repeat our check CFS tool here to figure out what the current state of replication, what the quality of the replicates is, and how old they are. So let's have a look. Where is some modification? 5 hours, 5 hours. Here we are. Here. So if I would say, okay, my replication should not be older than 75 minutes or 90, so for hourly replication, you can pretty fast see exactly if your desired age of replications is given or not. So you can see those are the one we just replicated. Isn't that great? Great thing. So if you don't want to learn Csync, that's very easy. You don't have to know with Miyagi, you don't need it. The next step would be a backup. So let's have a look at the source. We have normally, you can do a lot of mistakes. The first mistake, what you can do is to, you have just seen it, to make backups deletable. There is no need administrator can delete a backup here in this view. Let's have a look. Can take some seconds. Come on. And if there, I can see it, and there is no need, a hacker has to know about a backup. So as you can see, there is no backup store. My Miyagi script is showing up the backup store if it's needed, not earlier. So it doesn't make sense. A hacker can see a backup, and in the worst case, he is removing the backups and then doing some bad things. Doesn't make sense. So normally you would go to the backup scheduler, but as you can see, here is not enabled. And the second thing you can make completely wrong, don't say include, because this would not work someday. Always say exclude selected VMs. So, or all, but never include. But you have seen that's not active. Why? Because we triggering the backup. And now have a look how this Miyagi script will work. We have a cron tab on this machine that says on reboot, do the Miyagi script. I'll explain soon. With this config. And if it's not rebooted, do it at least at 7 o'clock in the evening. So that's exactly what we do now. We are firing up my Miyagi script. So, and what we can see here, the first thing what I do is I am creating a fresh, recent Z-Sync configuration, put it in place. Then I fire up the Z-Sync software you have just seen. And then he's doing all the replication. And when this is done, he will create a report and put it exactly on my monitoring without any effort. I record the entire replication, but the job for one day should be about 10 to 30 minutes for a normal customer with 50 people. So now the replication is almost at its end. The PVE conf is a backup we are creating in our post installer. So have a look as well at our post installer. And what is taking here a second is the check CFS. And this has been sent to the source. So I just opened it. You can find it here. My last scan is 4 minutes ago. And I'm using here check MK from Germany. My big recommendation, we have great plugins for CFS and OpenSense here. So you can see this is a normal system. You have all the CFS file systems and memory and I/O and postfix and whatever. But what you can see here is our result. It says it's a job pull PVE 30. That's the target machine. The marking is Bash Club Z-Sync. This is the marking we have seen. And this is the source. I can't remove this way. And this is the data set here. This is the NAS from the HDD. And as you can see, it's okay. Why it's okay, I can show you later. And this is 7 minutes ago. And the value is from 80 seconds ago. What we do, we push a small file to the source that reports how good the backup is. So usually you would expect that if there is no new backup, the next 10 years everything is green. But that's not on check MK. So this means this file has, you just have seen it perhaps here. It has a name and it has a number. And the number means this file is valid for 90,000 seconds, means after 90,001 seconds, this file is not valid anymore and the tests go to error. So then my Miyagi script says, okay, today there's no maintenance, so there is no removing of old backups. no removal of old backups, and then E is starting the backup job. New backup job. Exclude 999. That's exactly what we do. And now you can see he's doing a backup on each virtual machine. And he's doing it not in a full backup way. So it says, for example, here this is about 40 gigs from 650. So he's only backupping this 40 gigs. And this is running. And at the end, there's a simple exit code that says, hey, my backup is good or my backup is not good. And the result of this will just simply move with another file to my source, and I called it daily Proxmox Backup Server. And if this is green, you know that your full backup, all machines with your exceptions, has done well, so there's no error occurred, and you don't have to spend any more attention on this. If this is going to red, you can examine your log file on your Proxmox source. It's looking like this. So you find the backup, the machine that's backupped, you can find it here, and the log file is beyond here. Here you can see the log file. And last backup was okay. That's the reason why it's green at the moment. And at the end, you can update everything automatically and it's shutting down. That's it. And now you're asking me, how did you do this? And this is very easy. I can show you. What you need, let's have a look in our, what I almost forgot, the new system we replaced has Epic CPU bench, a single CPU system with much more efficient, has, you can see, 32,000 with one CPU. It's a lot of more recent, and you can see it's, yes, this is 2 times was 170. This is a little less with almost the double of the power. You can see it right here. So the new system is great. It has the same of power consumption, but is twice as fast, and you still can use your old system. So how can you use your old system? It's very easy. We go to the system. I can show you. So let's have a look. You just say git clone. Oops, clear. apt install git if you have not done yet, and then you say clone. So you get this value from here in our bash club. So you're going here to Miyagi, say code, copy, then you say git clone and the code. You just go to the folder, list it, then you say change mod plus X for the PBS. This makes it startable, so executable. And then you need copy your config example to config. And now you say copy to config. What I do is I am using the IP, but I say okay, just name it config for the first time. I always use the IP address of the source. So then you just have to fill out all the values. So we go through it in a fast way. SSH port is default. Do you want the backup feature? Yes. On Sunday, this would be Sunday, should be the optimizing of the backup server. Shut down after the work. Yes, but then you have to wake it every day. And always don't forget the space. I hate it. So the space after the value. Then the source host, your source IP address you are backupping from. You need the source host name at this point. This will be automatic in the future. You can have two data sets. So have rpool data. This is the default data set on CFS Proxmox, and have a second one here. This my target should be, usually it's also rpool REPL. You don't have to create this one because ZSync will do usually. So this is for stopping the pool. I will automate this later. So this is your tag. This means with this marking on your source data sets will be backup. This is the backup selection. Here keep minimum 3 is okay. Daily 14 days. And this is the label for the snapshot. And then you can add extra snapshots. If you don't add anything, he would just send snapshots with ZSync, CSync, RZ, or RC, whatever. And you can also say, I want the dailies and, I want the daily snapshots and the weeklies and the monthly as well. Yeah, and then you need a working Proxmox Backup server. You have to set up first. We are showing this in our cursor, so this is my Proxmox Backup server, it's the 199. In my other case, the 198 is the Proxmox Beyond. Here, this is the backup store name on the Proxmox VE system. So this is, for example, this is the store as I named it here under storage. This is called backup. And in the backup server itself, you also have to specify a name for the backup server. Here's your exceptions you don't want to backup, and that's it. And if you then fire it up, you will get all the stuff you just have seen. You will get everything you have just seen, all the features, all the reportings, and the details how to set up. You also can find here in the README, and we can just go through in a fast way. You need a config file, and here is a German course for it. This is, for example, jetzt now on next week. It's also a typo. You can search for Sysops TV. That's why I sent this video today. So, and say what you need. A Proxmox with CVS that you want to backup and to replicate from. You need another Proxmox, the old server, with Wake on LAN. And you need a Proxmox backup server as a container, but you also can make a VM on it. On the target machine, you need a public key from your second Proxmox, and this public key has to be added on the source and on the backup server for controlling. That's mentioned how it works here. You need on all hosts the CVS Auto Snapshot software. We use our post installer. And yes, what do you need else? That's it, mostly. And then you have a great backup scenario that's turned off. You have a lot of backups long term. You have a couple of weeks or months of bootable replications. And the last thing what will come is that you just activate your Miyagi server to a productive server if everything fails. That's the next thing what will come. So what do you think? Do you like these videos? Then just make a thumb up, please. If you have a friend that's a YouTuber in UK or another English-speaking country, a tech channel that's suitable for our videos, just let him know. I'm looking for a second channel with more English-speaking audience. If you are German-speaking, just have a look at cloudisevil.de.com or Cloud is Böse. You can find one of our courses to get this nailed for your business. Yeah, that's mostly it for today. If you have any questions, just send me an email to christian@sysops.de and I will send you an invitation to our Matrix chat. Or you can just make a comment on the video or on GitHub. So if there are any questions or anything, just let me know. And if you're happy with this project, let me know as well. So I have to thank to my German audience that want me that we have some audio issues in the middle. And if I had not recognized that this video would be ruined and I would be disappointed. But I'm happy today and have to tell you, see you soon, perhaps, perhaps not. We will see. Goodbye. Guten Einkauf.